Hey guys, I am at Guitar Shop of Wisconsin. This is one of the last old school music stores in the country. More used gear than new, which I love. I love seeing, good deals on stuff you don't see everywhere and every day. The owner is a friend and several of my friends work here, and I really should come by here more. Lots of vintage gear. Not necessarily, there's some really high-end stuff, some really low-end stuff, and everything in between. Sorry about that, I was on Wi-Fi, so...
Today. I think that's who would work with you, but Greg is the owner. Yeah. So, which Jackson was it?
I bet that Marshall thing sounds
good. That's likely where it would have been.
Caught a wild Bruce. That tremolo sounds nice. Definitely a candy store for guitar players and a little bit for bass players as well. Oh, somebody said not one JC120. Where does it say that? Oh, wait, here we go. Anything particular I should show Bruce? Anything like really cool I should make sure I let him see? He's busy with customers.
Yeah.
I thought this old Marshall was pretty cool. How often do you see one of those? Not a Marshall guy, but that's cool. Lots of Fender stuff for you here, Kevin. I mean, the selection of cool old stuff that he has is just crazy. I actually really like this little Music Man. I'd say that's a winner.
Yeah, I like that one better. It's true. A little more true for $50. Hey, I gotta complain about that. Her name is Hazel. Yeah, we got a little Hazel and an Emery.
So we had a request for a JC120. If there's anything anyone else wants to see before I...
And,
Well, I've never seen a Marshall like this before. What's up with this one, Bruce?
I don't know.
yeah, that was Emery.
That's why I want to plug it in. A regular customer, an old friend of Greg's, just brought this in. Always good to try and test things out.
If I may, I'm going to help myself to one other pedal to try out, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Anything cool back there? There's the owner with somebody, and then there's my guitar tech, Greg, who's a good friend of mine as well. And there's Bruce, who knows everything about, like, I'd say, what are you most knowledgeable about, Bruce? Effects? You're my guy that I go to for effects questions.
Guitars, amps, speakers.
So really everything, huh?
Electric guitar stuff. I am moderately knowledgeable on other stuff, but electric guitar stuff, I just get excited for. So that's...
I don't know who knows more, Bruce or Greg. I typically go for guitar questions, Bruce for effects questions, but that could be my own bias, maybe.
Well, Greg also does repair work and modifications, and I don't go anywhere near a soldering iron. I let the folks who know what they're doing do that.
I got a request on the video for a bassman. There's a couple bassmen around here, isn't there? Bruce? I thought I saw one in this aisle.
Yeah, so this aisle should have several. So Showman.
Here's a bassman right here.
That's a bassman, not bandmaster.
Yeah.
1968, as distinguished with the silver edge plus the silver plate. And that may be our only bassman right now, but we do have
800.
We do have several bandmasters. 50 watts, bigger transformer on the bassman, so more dynamic punch and a little louder. Bandmaster, very similar, but smaller, a little more compression, not quite as loud because of the smaller transformer. Plus it has tremolo. Dual Showman, a couple of bandmasters, another bandmaster.
You're right, this is the bandmaster aisle more than anything, good God.
And we've got some Tremolux 210 cabinets, but no Tremolux head.
I love that there's so much old Fender stuff. You know, that's my favorite.
If they like the old Fender,
I saw. I'm going to go over that aisle again, though. There's an old tweed Fender over here. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's stay out of your way there. Super reverb, an old silver face super reverb. The Bassman was 800. And if you're actually legitimately interested, they do sell online, so I can get you the email or the link. If you wanted to, you know, and they do negotiate as well. It's not a type of store where everything is, you know, priced as is. They are. I don't want to say too much, but they've been known to give me deals. Couple old guitar Leslie cabinets there. I think those are the Fender ones when CBS owned it. How about this old Yamaha? Silverface Twin. What was that, Music Man Twin? No, it's not. It's a little different. Is that the Music Man? I don't know what makes that different. There's another twin. The Vibrolux. Bunch of hollow bodies up there. I can't remember if I said this on camera or not. Last time I was in here, my wife made a Instagram live video here, and then she got on my case for not doing the same since, you know, I have a pretty decent social media presence, and she wanted me to promote the store since, again, the owner is a friend and several of the employees are friends, so. Another Vibrolux over here. This is the PV section. I think amplifiers are more interesting to me than guitars, honestly. I don't know why, I just love amplifiers. But they had, I think it sold, they had a really nice vintage Telecaster from the 60s or 50s or something that was hanging over here. I can't tell the difference. One of those, maybe that, I think it's that one is legitimately vintage. I can't really tell the difference. Or maybe it's that one, or maybe both. But last time I was in here with a young guitar player that I was working with. And that's a beautiful Strat right there. I love the ash, both the sound and the look. If there's anything else anybody wants me to look for before I end the video, it is, you're right, it is Fender heaven, absolutely. But if you ever come to town, Kevin, I'm making sure you have this for your backline right here. That's your backline amp right there. Yeah, I just like that this is a legit music store. We used to have a ton of these when I was a kid, and they're extinct now. Everything is like the Walmart of music stores, which is what Guitar Center and Sam Ash have turned into. You know, they cater to, you know, soccer moms who want to buy their kid their first instrument and stuff like that. And this is a legitimate old school music store that caters to musicians. And Greg. What's your favorite thing here, Greg? Have you had a chance to scope it out yet, or no?
I have not. I'm guessing there's probably more stuff in the back that I would probably...
Oh, man.
Before I made a comment.
Yeah, I would love to do a video in the back. The back is probably at least twice the size of the sales floor. And it's like you can't walk. I peeked the camera back there earlier in the video, and I'll do it again, but I wouldn't want to actually show anything in back without the owner's permission. But it goes, like, way back. It goes way back, and like I said, you can't even walk. But I mean, so there's two Gregs here. My guitar tech, Greg, works here sometimes, and then the owner's name is Greg. Greg, the owner, would probably take somebody in back if they asked if there was something specific they wanted to see. He's pretty... Kevin, I'm going to send you the website info. Like I said, then the guys who work here are all knowledgeable musicians and gearheads like Bruce.
The check's in the mail, man. Check's in the mail.
I just joked earlier that Bruce looks like the accountant who wandered into the music store on his lunch break, but he's actually a phenomenal guitar player, and he knows gear like nobody.
Oh, man. Sweet Larry.
Yeah, maybe I'll get a better deal on the next thing I buy, even with the jokes. Greg's here. My guitar tech, Greg, works here sometimes, and then the owner's name is Greg. Greg, the owner, would probably take somebody in back if they asked if there was something specific they wanted to see. He's pretty... Kevin, I'm going to send you the website info. Like I said, then the guys who work here are all knowledgeable musicians and gearheads like Bruce.
The check's in the mail, man. Check's in the mail.
I just joked earlier that Bruce looks like the accountant who wandered into the music store on his lunch break, but he's actually a phenomenal guitar player, and he knows gear like nobody.
Oh, man. Sweet Larry.
Yeah, maybe I'll get a better deal on the next thing I buy, even with the jokes. So... Now, they don't officially sell keyboards, but there's a couple Moog-looking things that were back here.
Yeah, there's a memory Moog that I think needs some repair work, and there may be an Ensoniq.
Yep, there's an Ensoniq right there hiding behind Greg.
Okay, another channel.
Wow.
Yeah. I can. I got time. No. You keep doing what you're doing. I'll see if I can find them anywhere else.
Like I said, they like interesting stuff here. Some of it's valuable, some of it's cheap, but they have more unusual things here than you'd expect to find. I said that as I walked past the painted guitars. I don't know a thing about these. They're not cheap, so they must be worth something. What's the deal with these? Do you know anything about these painted guitars, Bruce?
No, but Greg probably does.
I'm sure he does. Okay, well, I'm gonna try to come through here more because I didn't realize how close it was to my house. It's only 4 miles from my house. Carbon copy, my favorite analog delay.
Face Princeton Reverb.
I just got asked about a Princeton. Where's the Princeton?
It's over on the wall to the back and to your left.
Oh yeah, right here.
Vintage silver face. It's been reloaded with a JBL 10.
It's got a new JBL in it.
And well, not new. But
Okay.
It has a JBL from some previous period.
Marked down.
It's a shocking amount of volume and a sweet tone.
I think I've played through this before when demoing a guitar. It is an amazing little amp.
I also like the early 70s Marshall metal front plexi circuit. Yeah.
Which I don't know enough about Marshall to know which one is that.
It's over here. I think it's the smaller of the two boxes on the full stack.
Gotcha. Years ago, I got asked to endorse Marshall, and I said no because I didn't like them. I should have said yes. I was really young and dumb. I should have just said yes, but I was like, no, I like Fender. I'll wait for Fender. And of course, Fender never called.
Okay, so that is 14. Let's turn the blend off. Okay, so I must be on mine.
Very,
Okay, so there's volume.
well-respected bass player just started watching, so I'm going to try to do a more close-up on the bass wall. I don't think there's anything too exceptional on the bass wall, but I haven't looked as close since I'm not a bass player. A lot of old vintage Ampeg stuff, though, if you like Ampeg. I'll actually go and run down these bass amps back here. I can go this way.
So that works just fine. It's better compressor.
How about that? Ampeg Portaflex head. There's an old acoustic bass. I remember these. Oh, I remember the old SWR Working Man stuff. I had a Working Man's 15 combo.
Ah, there we are. Now what I'm saying. That's why the switch wasn't working.
A lot of old acoustic stuff here, isn't it?
Now it all makes sense.
Try to get through here. That.
Cool.
That's pretty cool. How often do you see one of those? Another.
Alright.
There's Bruce disguised as a bass player.
Alright, cool. Oh, yeah.
I think I've shown everything on the sales floor, at least. Again, maybe one day we'll get a tour of the back. The back is easily twice the size of the sales floor, with easily 3 times as much stuff. Because out here it's, you know, you can move around a little bit, whereas in back you can't even walk. They really do. Like I was saying earlier in the video, this is like a legit old school cool music store. And we have one guy to thank, Greg Ginter. He's a self-professed retired roadie who opened this store to have something to do with his guitar collection. And it's turned out to be the only real music store we have left since Guitar Center turned into crap. old. Is this a field coil? Yeah, old field coil. No, it's a permanent magnet. But that's an old Jensen. Hey, Bruce. Got any vintage Fender basses? Did I lose Bruce? You don't know, do you, Greg?
I know he was working on, he was putting together 1970s camera.
By the way, that's my guitar tech, Greg, who just started working here. You won't find anybody more knowledgeable about. Is that vintage? That looks vintage to me.
Assume these are.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the.
When Bruce or Greg Ginter come back in here, I'll ask them more. Hey, Bruce, are there any? Those are the only vintage Fender basses here?
Yeah. Vintage basses that we have several vintage Fenders, and there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, probably half dozen from different eras.
Huh.
We have a couple of EBO Gibsons up here. I don't remember off the top of my head how old the Thunderbirds are. The Rickenbacker at the end is an unusual model. It has one original pickup and one hot rodded pickup. Bolt-on unusual neck, I think from the mid-'80s. We have 2 vintage Mosrite basses, one solid, one semi-hollow. In between them is new Guild Starfire bass.
Right.
But the 2 Mosrites are original and vintage. We got a bunch of vintage guitars, but
yeah,
everything else is going to be used or G&Ls or new.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot Greg's a G&L dealer. So who actually knows more about the inventory here, you or Greg? Greg Ginter?
I'm sure Greg Ginter does. I know a fair amount.
Yes, you seem to know everything here, which is,
So brands that we have new, G&L, Supro, who also makes basses, but we only have the guitars in at the moment. Let's see. What else do we? Oh, Schecter.
I like Schecter. I know they're considered to be a cheaper. I've got that I was telling you earlier. I've got that Schecter Elite that Greg Owen sold me when all my gear got stolen. That was just meant to be a cheap, backup guitar, and I've used it on sessions. I've used it on lots of sessions.
Oh yeah, I just bought a Schecter semi-hollow C1 and with a piezo in it, and it's beautiful. We're also a dealer for Guild, and we have new and used Guild guitars. And we only have one Guild bass currently, that semi-hollow Starfire, which has. I was shocked at how much sustain that had for a semi-hollow bass. I usually think of semi-hollows like the old Beatle basses and no sustain and a real thump. But that sounds like a modern bass, but with a slightly sweeter tone. Semi-hollow. Oh, we also carry Hamer new, but that's only guitars, not basses.
I've been getting a surprising number of people viewing my live video here, including some real reputable musicians, but none of them are from Madison. But I'm going to give them the website and.
Sure. Well, if they're listening to me, there's no accounting for taste.
Yeah. No kidding.
Oh, unstuffed is cool. From a guitarist perspective.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's show us, Bruce. So Bruce is not actually the owner, believe it or not. The owner is Greg. Again, it's confusing. There's Greg Ginter and Greg Owen. Greg Ginter is the owner. Greg Owen is my guitar tech who also works here. Bruce works here, but I swear he knows as much as the owner of the store about what the store has.
I'm just an old guitar geek.
Yes, he is. Very much so.
So some things that are fun. New Supro. David Coltai, the guy who owns Pigtronics Effects, bought the Supro brand from Bruce Zinke. Zinke helped design a number of the amps. They're sort of tributes to the old 50s and 60s Supros, including some of the ones like Jimmy Page used on the first couple of Zeppelin albums in the studio. But what I get excited about a lot of the vintage things, because I'm vintage myself.
You are really old. This is true.
And if you come around the corner, this is my favorite aisle. So we have 3 Ampeg Jets that are 20 watt 6v6 tube amps. They are a little more mid-rangey in their tone by design than a black or silver face Fender, but a very sweet tone because of the 6v6 power tubes. 20 watts, very much in the same power range as a Fender Deluxe Reverb. And speaking of the Deluxe Reverb, here's a couple of lovely examples. A genuine 1964 Deluxe
Greg
Reverb.
needs to give you a bonus for today. You're killing this. You're crushing this, Bruce.
And a pre-reverb round face Deluxe. So preceding the black face and black Tolex, but after the tweed and after things like the, or overlapping with the blonde amps.
So I've always wondered, what's the difference between the blonde and the, you know, the black Tolex era of Fenders? I've always seen the blonde. I've never spent any time with them. What's the big difference?
Greg knows a lot more about it than me. As just a player who's not a tech or a roadie, my general sense is the older you go with the Fender amps, the more mid-range and the less glassy of a tone.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go back to like a Tweed Basement or a Tweed Deluxe, and then you proceed to a blonde era and a brown era, and then of course there's overlap. I think the piggyback amps that they call the Professional Series went blonde first when they were still making, I think maybe the Champ was still tweed and some of the others were brown. And then by 63 or
Just to interrupt real quick, so if somebody comes here to visit, they can try absolutely anything, right?
Absolutely.
There's nothing off limits here.
No.
No matter how old and expensive it is, you can plug in and play it as much as you want.
There are two things that are off limits.
Okay.
One is this one, unless you have a set of strings that'll fit that guitar.
By the way, this is the tech that Legends are made of right here, who does all the repairs. I don't know if he wants to be on camera, so I'm not going to show him unless he's kind of shuffling away. But he does all the amp rebuilding and amp repairs. It's all done in-house here by... How long have you been doing it for, Sid?
Since 1967.
Since 1967. The OG of guitar amp techs.
And
My battery's going to die soon, by the way, if the video stops.
That are off limits, unless you bring your own really big extension ladder, are the amps that are up there on that very high shelf. Because we don't have a ladder big enough to get there, or at least not since I moved in here 6 years ago. But everything else, regardless how valuable or how old or how new, the stuff's here to be played.
Yeah.
And I get a real kick out of it, and so does Greg, and so does Nick Jacoby, who's off today.
Right.
And so, come on in and play the stuff.
It's a 14-foot gap.
So, I've been asking everybody the same question. Sid, you would have a different perspective on this. What's your favorite thing in the store?
Boy, I don't know. I don't know if I have any.
What's your favorite of the day? Because that's what I asked Bruce, because I know he's got a different favorite every day.
I don't generally come out here.
You hide in the back.
I don't hide. I work in the back.
That's true. You get... So... Well, what's your favorite thing you've worked on, then? That's come through the store.
Oh, I don't know. I always like working on Solano SLOs.
Solano SLOs.
I've got a customer that has a bunch of real interesting stuff. Custom made stuff.
Cool.
He also has like R9s and R7s, that sort of stuff.
Right. Gibson Les Paul reissues 59, 57, and 7. You ought to give him a shot of some of the vintage Rickenbacker and Fender stuff that are up there, too.
Oh, show me. Yeah, don't let me let... I interrupted your lecture on the old Fender amps, too, by the way.
Oh, that's fine, because it's a lecture. It needs to be interrupted. Just ask my daughter and my wife.
Yeah, no kidding.
Up there, there's like a 1968 or 69 Sunburst Rickenbacker 360. It's a 6-string. It's not a 12-string, but you're still in chimey tone.
Which one is it now?
That the Fire Mist Sunburst Rickenbacker
Okay, so
with the cat's eye.
It's the orangey one right there. Yeah, because I would say there's the whitish one and the orangish one,
right,
which is
so
the technical
the
terms for those colors.
Right, the blondie one is I want to say like a 2004.
Okay.
Also very sweet and very playable, but the one next to it is vintage. And then the one next to that looks like a classic Rickenbacker 4001 bass is actually a Rickenbacker 6-string guitar in the same shape. Oh, next to the blonde Rick is a very sweet American-made 1997 Guild Bluesbird. It's a semi-hollow but no F-hole.
I would say it looks solid from here.
Yeah, it's semi-hollow, so kind of like the BB King Lucille one from Gibson, where
Gotcha.
it was, chambered semi-hollow but no F-hole.
So what's that right there? The worn gold.
Oh, those are Dan Electro vintage guitars, either under the Dan Electro name or under Silvertone for Sears, because I think Dan Electro made the guitars for them, and with the Silvertone label, but they sold some under their own. They have those classic lipstick case covers over the single coil pickups, have a real distinctive tone, and I think most of those are hollow or semi-hollow, with I'm trying to remember if some might be fiberglass bodies, like those Supro new guitars that are made old style by the basses and the vintage basses. Those are semi-hollow or fully hollow guitars with the fiberglass bodies with a rubber seam.
Oh, I see. I figured out which ones you're talking about.
Those
Yeah,
those
right
are
there.
new. Same guys who made the Supro amps, the retro style.
Am I here past close? You guys close at 6?
Yeah.
So I should. My phone battery is dying, and the store is about to close. I'm sure they're ready to kick me out.
Ooh, I'll show you one more.
Oh nope, not Bruce.
I could talk for days. Just ask my friends. This is an especially cool. I'm a big fan of value guitars. I've owned some expensive stuff, and I like the value guitars equally well. A G&L made in Indonesia. They also have American-made ones. But they use USA pickups in most or all of their Indonesian ones. Mm-hmm. So typically for the East Asian stuff, you need to upgrade the hardware and the pickups to bring it up to the level of the American guitars. A lot of these G&Ls, just as is, I think sound excellent and play great.
So here's what I found in the difference with value guitars and like high-end guitars, and you tell me what your experience has been. Like, you can set up a less-end guitar and play it at home and play it in the studio, and it plays just as good. But when you start taking it on the road and dealing with temperature changes and climate changes, taking it on airplanes and tour buses and stuff like that, I start to notice that my non-American made stuff needs TLC a lot quicker than...
That's interesting. I had not, that I've not heard, but I also don't tour. But my experience just playing local gigs is, I get just as... What I've usually done, I've got a PRS Korean, I've got a Schecter Korean guitar. I mean, I've got an American Les Paul, an American Strat.
Right.
But on the East Asian ones, and I've had a G&L, you just upgrade the pickups, the tuners, and occasionally the bridge. But a lot of times on the G&Ls, they don't.
That's a beautiful guitar too. That G&L you were pointing out. This one here.
Well, it's kind of a Polycaster because it's got a mahogany body and a maple cap and humbuckers.
That was a beautiful guitar.
You can play it single coil to get a tele sound, and it's still got a bolt-on neck, and it's got the longer scale length, so it still has the snap and greater definition in the bass tones that a Fender style guitar has. So it's really versatile, and I think it's cool. But the G&L also has very traditional Fendery things. I just thought that was an especially fun one.
That is nice. So
to each their own.
I'm probably gonna try to stop by here at least once a week, and I'll do some more live videos from here if anybody else has any questions about stuff. But definitely this is if you're in the Midwest, this is one of the places to come for vintage guitar gear.
Alrighty then. Okay,
yeah.
now.
Oh geez, there in the Midwest there.
That's right.
Gotta go up there and get some cheese then. You go out on the lake with the boat.
That's right.
In the Midwest there. Okay. Well, thanks for watching.